should not have stayed up until almost 3 o'clock reading, but I did start My Heart is a Chainsaw, and I really wish I didn't. The whole first chapter is about this, like, I think Swedish or Dutch couple or something that is, like, visiting a lake in Idaho, and they decide to go skinny dipping, but they find a canoe, and they don't have a light source, so they're just out in the middle of the lake on this canoe, and it's dark out. And I've been boating at night in the dark, and it's fucking terrifying. And this was the most, like, I could feel this chapter in my bones. And there was a weird, like, translation thing that I had to look up on Google, and this is what it said, and I'm, like, not happy. I'm not happy. I need to go to bed. What the fuck? That was terrifying. Today is a weird day, and I don't know if you can tell from my window. It doesn't want to. You can kind of see it's raining. I ended up taking a sick day because I wasn't feeling that great when I woke up. I'm doing some laundry, and I am getting back into My Heart is a Chainsaw. And then I have a few things. I need to run to the post office and the grocery store, and probably Joann Fabrics as well. But I need to go do all that stuff, and then I'm gonna come home and just take it easy and keep reading for the night. And I'm definitely liking this one a little bit better. I don't know if it's because it's from, like, a female character perspective, or if I just have gotten used to Stephen Graham Jones writing. I think that the previous books that I've read, I read Night of the Mannequins as a physical copy, and then I listened to Mongrels, like, I think over, like, 2 years ago as an audiobook, and I wasn't a huge fan of the audiobook. So I think maybe getting back into the physical, like actually reading it with my eyes experience, is a little better for me. I am 5% in though, so it's not like I've made a huge dent thus far. I'm liking the fact that it is on a lake. I really enjoy that in a book because I grew up very close to a lake, and like a lot of my summers were spent like swimming and going out in boats and stuff. We're getting closer to those slasher vibes, and I'm obviously kind of reeling still from what I read last night. I want to know, like, is it going to be more like paranormal creature horror, or is this going to be more of like a true slasher, like there's just some sort of like serial killer thing happening? You know those TikToks where it's like showing my cat a part of the house or something in the house, hi Bento, that they've never seen before? Well, this is that, like, showing my YouTube channel a part of my house you've never seen before, you know? 55 pages into My Heart is a Chainsaw, and it's going kind of slow so far. And no Bento, this is Mommy's cream puff. I think our main character Jade is queer because she was like really, I don't know, the descriptions of this other girl that she just met, Letha. Letha, okay. So she met this other girl and like just couldn't fathom, she like just couldn't stop describing how she looked and like how she was dressed. And I mean, it kind of vibes more with how Stephen Graham Jones writes in general, so it could have just been one of those moments, but it really felt like a queer moment, and it was interesting. I enjoyed it. Any conversation she has with someone, almost any conversation, is like littered with horror classic trivia and talking about the characters and naming off the characters. She legitimately wants a horror movie to happen in her town. I want it to gear back up again because that first chapter was really the feeling that I was hoping for. I don't know, it's still slow. Like, I feel like I'm just trudging through it a bit. Not turned off to it yet. If I'm not able to get to like halfway by like tomorrow night, I'll probably pick up the audiobook just so I can make sure I finish it before the end of the readathon. I'm on my lunch break right now, and I've been working a little bit on some more sleeves. I'll be completely honest, I probably spent like 5 hours yesterday sewing, and then like another hour today will be done sewing, and I finally have the rest of the book sleeves for my next launch all done. This is probably going to be like one of the bigger launches that I do. I've been hyper fixated on that for a little bit and just sewing and sewing and sewing. And today is another disgusting day. I have been listening to the audiobook today for a little while I've been doing other tasks that don't need like my full attention. And so my check-in for now is page 230, which seems like it has happened very suddenly that we're here. And I struggled last night to really enunciate my thoughts on this book because I'm not a huge fan of our main character. I enjoy that we're getting a point of view from a girl, and the setup in my mind with how I read the description is very different than what the book is turning out to be. Every page that turns, I am more and more confused by our perspective, which is Jade's narration. Not that I like don't get it, like I understand what's happening. She's young, she's 17, just graduated high school, and she is absolutely obsessed with horror movies and just the genre in general. She is relating everything to it. She wants to talk to everyone about it, and she just wants to share her love of horror with you, and there's no one else on her level. Like, no matter how much you think you know about horror, like, it's not as much as she does. I get that, but she takes it to a new level where she like really wants to be in the movie. She wants to live it, feel it, just, yeah. And I'm not there. It's also the fact that she's becoming more unhinged as the story progresses. Like, things that she's doing are definitely things that I would be like, that's not responsible, that's not the right thing to do. I don't think you should say that or do that, or why the fuck are you doing that? So I'm doing a voice memo to Michelle, bookishly Michelle, and I realized something. Okay, we're starting over. So I think I'm finally understanding what's happening with Jade. I think Jade is supposed to be that person that you're screaming at, like when you're watching a horror movie and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, these are all the wrong moves. Like, how could you possibly do that? And like, as the reader or the viewer of a horror movie or book or whatever, you're like, things will seem obvious to you, things will seem like foreshadowing, but of course the main character can't see those things, you know? So I think that's where we're supposed to be. That's put a whole new light on this book for me. And yeah, I think that is a better perspective to look at it from, and actually makes me like the book a little more again. So I guess I'm gonna dive right back into that. I finally finished My Heart is a Chainsaw. I finished this like around 3 o'clock this morning, and I still don't know my full thoughts on this book, which is really frustrating because there was obviously the clips before this where I was talking to Michelle and I was like, you know, maybe I'm okay with this book because it does have like an annoying trope of like, don't do that, like you're doing the wrong thing, and like the main character was really setting themselves up for being blamed for all of these things that are going to happen theoretically. And by the end of the book, I finally got some of the like things that I wanted from this story, and then I was like, oh, I really enjoyed the rest of it too, which is really confusing. On one hand, I wish there was more action, and I wish that the slasher part is more about the actual like killing and slasher-y things and less about our main character Jade just talking about why they like them. That does create a separation between you and the main character Jade, and so I don't feel like there will necessarily be a lot of people who are like 100% on board, like me too, I want to be part of the horror movie. And again, I think that's intentional. I am going to be reading through Tomi by Junji Ito. It is my biggest and most recent acquisition of a Junji Ito graphic novel. I'm not gonna hold this up. It's too heavy. It's like a 5-pound book. I know that some of his other stories about Tomi were sprinkled into the other short story collections, and so I've read about her before, and even the back is pretty telling. It says Tomi is a femme fatale with long black hair and a beauty mark just under her left eye. She can seduce nearly any man and drive them to murder as well, even though the victim is often Tomi herself. Like, some of the artwork already is just like really interesting. I'm in. I don't agree with Tomi and how she's being treated or acting, but I think I'm gonna be able to zoom through it pretty quickly in between calls and like busyness today while I'm working, which is fine by me because tonight I actually washed my hair really early in the morning. So despite it being very poofy, it is clean. I washed it this morning and it's still a little wet, but if you can tell from these intense roots, She needs a re-dye. I'm not doing my roots. Let's back up right there. I'm not gonna re-bleach my roots and go there, but I am going to put on more of the orange dye, like the peachy orange dye that I had. It's hair dyeing time. I'm using Unicorn Hair by Lime Crime, and this is a neon peach, and this is a semi-permanent hair color. This might actually be easier to see. My camera was definitely going to die, and I could not do anything with the gloves and the hair dye on it. So we're done. If you want to see without me showing you my underwear, you can see in the reflection, all dyed. I am so fucking sweaty. Let's go somewhere else where I can. Oh my gosh. Right in front of the AC. That's perfect. I'm very sweaty, so now that my hair is done being dyed, I gotta leave this on I think for half an hour, and then we'll rinse it out, and then I'm gonna also do some trimming on my hair and redo my undercut. So I will see you in like half an hour, 45 minutes once I am all out of the shower and stuff. I forgot exactly how bright it is after I dye it. Oh, it's so bright, it's so vibrant. I love that this is called neon peach, when in reality this is just orange. See, also this is another hazard, is that when I dye my hair in these glasses, it dyes the tips, but you can't see them, they're in my hair. It's fine. Ooh, let's do a little bit at a time. And no, I don't really pay close attention to make sure it matches. Just because I really don't care. Because my hair, as you can tell by my roots, grows back extremely fast. Oh yes. Very happy to get rid of some of this darker color that doesn't match. I really don't have much to say, so let me keep chopping. A little bit more off this side just because it looks a little longer, and it's gonna be like not a lot, as she absolutely hacks at her hair. I don't care as much about if I have that like pointy part in the back, which is why I flip my hair up, because that usually will fix most of that. Like, it does scream home haircut because it's not quite straight across the back, and you know what, my hair's looked like that for 8+ years and no one's ever said bullshit. So I'm gonna go wash all this sweat off and get back to reading Tommy. But I would say No, I lied. We need to do the undercut. I just use Jose's Manscaped razor with nothing on it. It's probably dirty, so I do apologize. But I go in with nothing on it, and you'll see, as you can see, oh my god, it's gotten so long. But I'm leaving all of that to grow back in again because, yeah, I want more of my hair under there. And you guys get to see how terrible I am. Doing this myself. Okay. Using another one of Jose's brushes. I might almost be done. Like there's no hair really to trim because I'm trying to let it grow in as much as possible. It's not straight. It looks a little bit like Will from Stranger Things back there, but you know, I'll just vibe with it. That is good enough. And yes, my neck is very sensitive, so it is going to look bright red after this. Time to wash my body off the sweat, all the hair, and all that hair in the garbage that I just knocked over. I just finished Tommy, and that was a journey. I think I'm gonna give it a 4-star, mostly because like the through story was very long. I will say that 750 pages or something is too long. I still felt like she was just at the whim of men. Because the thing is like, people would fall in love with her. She would get men to fall in love with her, and then they would become so in love with her that they would want to kill her. And so it just kept happening over and over and over and over and over again. And I can't say it's quite a feminist work. But I did finish it. It took like forever, and it's almost the end of the day. But otherwise, we're gonna hop into sewing some bookmarks. So I have bookmarks for all of the book sleeves that I'm gonna be listing next week. I just need to actually go through and sew them because I have a crap load of pre-cut bookmarks. So just to save time for myself later, I'm going to sew them all. No, I'm gonna start sewing them all tonight, and we'll just go from there. But I did want to wrap up the vlog here and let you know that it is the end of Summerween. I will be editing this tomorrow, so you guys won't see this until Friday, but it has been an interesting introduction for myself back into vlogging. I know I did not get all the challenges. I didn't even try to do Instagram challenges, but I still had a lot of fun, and I absolutely loved looking at other people's content, watching other videos, and in general, just like being part of the group, you know? It's always a good thing. So thank you so much if you made it this far in the video. If you did, leave me a pumpkin emoji because I really just want it to be fall already. It is disgustingly hot outside. And if you don't have access to emojis, just leave me a smiley face or something like that. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I am looking forward to seeing you in the next video.